Hello. Today we're going to be learning how to generate and manage student IRIP forms inside of the EduClimber system. To begin, you'll need to access your MyStar account. Once logged in the top left corner, you'll select Menu, MyStar DNA. Once you're in DNA, in the top right corner of that, you'll see a little circle with EC for EduClimber. Choose that. Inside of EduClimber, you'll receive a student confidentiality reminder. You can click OK, and on the left sidebar, you will see an option that says Smart Forms. You will choose that. This will bring you to all student forms that you've created. If this is your first time here, your window will be empty. To create a new IRIP form, in the top right corner, you'll select New, and we want New Form. For our form template, we'll choose the K3 IRIP for the 2022-2023 school year. We can select students by individually inputting their names, or if you have many students to input, you want to click the Advanced button. To quickly select all the students you have, you'll choose Teacher Course. In the Teacher drop box, if you are an interventionalist or service multiple classrooms or buildings, you'll want to enter the primary teacher's name. If you are a primary teacher, you will only see your name in the list. Once you select a teacher, you can also select a course to narrow down the results. For IRIPS, we'll want to make sure we pick the Reading and Language Arts. Here, you will see the student names, their teacher, their course, and the period. You can either select the checkbox to select all students if all your students need an IRIP. If only a few do not require one, you can uncheck just those students, or you can come through and select each student that needs an IRIP. Once you have all the students you want to generate an IRIP for, you can click Continue. Back at your Create screen, if you've added a student you didn't mean to, you can remove them here. If there's a student missing that you forgot to add, you can go back to Advanced, add that student, and click Continue to add them to the list. Once you have this, you'll enter the form name. For all IRIPs, the form name should be IRIP space the 2-digit school year. So this is the 22-23 school year. You can skip the folder and click Save. After a moment, all IRIPs for those students will be generated. If you don't see anything in the list, please make sure you have My Smart Forms selected. Once all the IRIPs are generated, you can now go in and add the individual plans for each student. To do this, simply hover over the student's form name and double-click. This will load automatically the student's name, their grade. You'll input the date. This has built-in general information for the parents with translation links. Next, you'll see the academic review section. So for the fall window, which was just completed, you'll see their grade, the average of all students within this grade level received, the student's individual score, what their percentile nationally is, what grade level placement they're in, their Lexile score, and their annual typical growth measure. So for this student, they should have a total score in the spring of 511. Beneath this, if their F&P scores have been input, those will show up here as well. Below that is a detail box explaining to parents what all of these mean. more information below that for our parents. If you'd like the parent to attend the next parent-teacher conference, you can click this box. This will let the parent know. Underneath that is some more general student information. You can add the classroom teacher. If there is an IRIP team leader separate from the classroom teacher, you can add that staff member here. Under this plan covers information for, this is the fall plan, so we'll select fall. If the student is also receiving ELL services, you may select that box. Under the overall end of year reading goals, you can input whichever goal you have created. This can be as simple as achieving grade level reading scores, or this could be a much more detailed goal at your discretion. For our fall reading plan summary, we'll need to put the date the plan was created. That might be the day you're filling this out. That may be a previous day. Any team members present for the plan. This may be their classroom teacher, an EL specialist, and or a reading interventionist, or any other staff member. We will add what decision was made. If this is the first time you're looking at the form, we'd want to select an initial reading or plan started. If we're coming back to an existing IRIP, we'll want to choose plan continued or adapted, or that the goal was met. So for our purposes now, we'll choose plan started. And then we'll want to choose the reading plan target area. This is the domain in which the intervention will be focused. If it's going to focus all of them, we'll choose all reading areas. If we're going to hone in on a specific domain, we will choose that. If you have any classroom strategies, you can fill this information in. If there are no classroom strategies you're listing, you can leave this blank. The same with classroom look-fors indicating student growth. What are going to be your indicators between now and the next time we review the IRIP plan? And any interventions that you want to add that are needed, how often those interventions will be given, weekly, monthly, daily, and the name of the interventionist who will be providing these interventions. If you're doing progress monitoring, you would use the measure that you're using for progress monitoring. Again, how often, and again, who is responsible for this. If none of these apply to the student, you can leave all of these blank. Finally, we can add general notes and additional information, if any. This is an opportunity for you to give any individual input to the parent about the student and their IRIP. Finally, at the end, there's the parent read-at-home plan. This can be provided via the Hamtramck Public Schools at-home reading plan, or they can reach out to you directly for any additional questions or concerns. When you are complete filling out this entire form, you'll come back to the top where it says Set Status, and we get to choose whether this is an in progress, an on hold, or a completed IRIP. Since we are beginning this will be an in progress IRIP. That will save, and you can close. You will now note next to the student name, it notes that this is an in progress form, and you can move on to the next student. Once you've input data for your students and are ready to distribute it to parents, you can select the Choose All option, or just select the individual plans you intend on sending. Once they've been selected, in the new box that shows up top, you can download the zip file, which will contain a PDF version of all of these IRIPs. You can then print them and send them to their families. When an IRIP is ready to be updated, after winter or spring diagnostics, you can again choose the student whose IRIP you want to view by double-clicking the form name. The top section would have all the new winter or spring data. Again, you can choose whether you'd like a parent-teacher conference or not. So you can unselect that, or select it based on the new information. You would update what this plan covers information for. So now we are in winter. You can make modifications to the overall end of year reading goals if required. You can quickly review the fall reading plan summary. And under winter need for continued reading plan, you can change the status. If no fall IRIP was generated for the student, but one is required for the winter, you can choose initial reading, as the winter would be the new starting point. If the student already had a fall plan, we can choose this plan as continued or adapted. Or if the student has met all of their IRIP goals, you can choose goal met, plan discontinued. You'll notice that depending on the selection you make, the form will change. If they've met their goal, you can add any additional notes, set the status to complete, and move to the next. If the plan is continued or is a new plan, you will choose plan continued, and just like fall, you will enter any of the details under the winter reading plan summary. If there are no modifications between the fall and winter reading plan summaries, you may want to note under classroom strategies, continuing fall strategies. Again, fill out any additional information that you feel is required. You may update the general notes and additional information. We will set the status to be in progress still, and we can move on again to the next student. And just like we'll do in the fall, you'll select all students who have an updated IRIP. You can download the file again and save and print the PDF for parents. This concludes today's training. Thank you for joining. Please let us know if you have any additional questions. Have a great one.